Hi humans, how are you? How you been? I haven't chatted with you in a hot minute, but I wanted to pass by here and say hello, see how you're doing. Hopefully everything's going well. I wanted to share with you a conversation that I've been having recently. Actually, I've been having this conversation with two very special people, and you know who you are. These individuals have been truly challenging me and questioning me and about themselves. And I thought it was a great conversation, so I wanted to invite you into this conversation. I wanted to see what you thought about it, see how you feel about it, to see if maybe you've had the same answers or maybe even just the same questions. So we were talking about one of these beautiful humans was asking me, why do you believe what you believe? How did you get to that place of such great belief? How did you get there? What did you do to get to that place? And how do you stay in that place? Right? And it was interesting because I've been asked that question before, but when it comes from someone that you love so much, and when it comes from a place of genuine concern or just genuine search for an answer, and it's not just I want an answer from you, but it's I want an answer from me, for me, by me, to me. It's a different space, and so I wanted to talk about that. So my question, well, her question to me was, how did you get there? Why are you so sure in what you believe? And how do you live a life in that space? And then the second question and the second person that I was talking to was in the same on the same vein, if you want to call it that. We're talking about mention belief and disbelief. And I just wanted to share a little bit about how I manage those questions or how I manage even those thoughts. Um, it did bring me to a place where I had to think about how do I articulate it the right way that you can understand what I'm saying. And I can tell you I'm still working on that. I'm still working on trying to use the right words to help these individuals understand what I mean because I'm having a hard time articulating it. But I wanted to share with you that believing, and I mentioned this to the first person, I was just like, well, before I can say about my faith, before I can say about how I live my life, before I can say my disciplines, before I can say all of that, I had to come to a place where I have to either believe or not believe. Either I believe in God or I don't. I have to come to that space and that place where I have to say, will I believe? Am I willing to believe without having all the answers, without understanding all the things? And that is the root of all things for me. For me, that is the root. I have to come to a place where I says, you know what? I do believe in Jesus Christ. I do believe that he died on the cross for me. I do believe that God is the creator of all things. I do believe that. And why do I believe that? Because of things that I've witnessed, because of the revelation God has given directly to me, because of the studies that I've done, the research that I've done. Like there's just so much. It isn't just because I believe because my parents told me to, once upon a time. It came to a place where I believe because I had my encounter with God, I had my experience. But can I say that just because I've had those very strong beliefs, I've never had or I don't have those moments of disbelief? And so disbelief is a place where you don't have enough evidence or convincing evidence to believe something, for example. So, do I get to that place that I have disbelief? I do. I get to that place where I'm like, really? I mean, I'm not even going to lie. There's been times that I question my existence. There's been times that I'm just like, is God really real? Or is this God really telling me this, or is this my emotions? Is this the situation? So I've found myself in that place. And I can't say that I don't visit that place because I pass through that place often. But I can say that even when I was younger, one of the things that kept me aligned to anything that I did is that I put a lot of weight on my words. My words mean a lot to me. So even if I said something or did something that I didn't like, but I said I was going to do, or I wanted to follow through on something, it held me accountable to me. So There were times that I would challenge that I didn't want to believe. For example, I was like, well, I don't want to believe right now because my emotions are a hot mess, and I would justify whatever I was thinking, whatever I was feeling. So because I've experienced that multiple times, I used to always tell myself, well, my word is my word is my word. So I'm going to go back to my word. If I said I'm going to believe, if I said I'm going to follow God, then I'm going to follow through with that because I said that. So it wasn't because anybody else was holding me accountable. It was because me to me. So because that's how I am with me, then there is a times where I always have to tell myself, if God is my absolute, if the Bible is my absolute, if I believe in the Bible, yes, knowing man wrote it, yes, knowing that there's a lot of different translations, there's a lot of different understandings of what I mean. Yes, 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 yes to all of that. I still have gotten to a place where I say, well, I'm going to choose that God is real. I'm going to believe that God is real. And because I believe God is real and the Word of God, the Bible to me is truth, then I'm going to take pieces from the Bible that will help me check myself. So the very first thing is for me was fear. Like, is this real? Am I following the right religion? Am I following the right God? Am I doing the right things? Like all those things. And then I would come back to a place where I'm like, well, I do think all of that. However, I know that I'm saying and I believe that there's a God. And then the Bible is, so let me get something from the Bible for me to remind myself. So in those moments when I don't believe, because for me, and I want to share how it processes in my head. So believing and unbelieving. So believing is accepting. So when I come to a moment where I don't understand, I don't like, I don't want, then that leads me to doubt, uncertainty, fear, and ultimately disbelief. So in that process, it's a lot about me. I don't understand, I don't like, I don't want, leading me to doubt, uncertainty, fear, and disbelief. And that fear is where it catches me. That fear that I have is what catches me. And fear can, for me, this isn't about anybody else, this is me explaining about me. Fear for me can do a few things. One, fear can be like a checks and balance for me. It's a checks and balance of, okay, why do I feel fear? What's going on? What did I see? What did I not see? What did I do? What did I not do? Who am I talking to? Who am I listening to? So it's a checks and balance for me. Another thing that fear can do is it can paralyze me and I can just stay stagnant where I'm at. No growth, no decline, just stagnant. Same thing over and over and over again, can stay there. Or fear can become the excuse I use to continue doing what I'm doing. So fear has a hold. It definitely has a hold on me and on many people, and it can cause us to do many different things. So before I allow fear get me to a place of disbelief, there's 3 different scriptures that I use for me, and I just want to share them with you. The first thing I do is I remember what I have within me, and I go to Galatians 5:22-23, which talks about the Spirit. Talks about the fruit of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So when I'm in the moment of disbelief, I go, what? I look inside and I say, what's inside of me? Those are the first things that I do for me. The second thing that I do is the Bible tells me what to think on. And I go to Philippians 4:8-9. So it doesn't matter what's going on, when I have fear, when I'm upset, when I don't understand, when I don't like and I don't want, I go to Philippians 4:8-9, and I weigh or measure everything on that, which it says, think about the things that are true, honorable, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, praiseworthy. So whatever situation I'm in, whatever thought I'm thinking, whatever emotion I have, I compare it to that. Is this true? Is this honorable? Is this right? Is this pure? So I go through all of those things. This is my checks and balance for myself, for my belief and disbelief. And the last thing that I do is I go into the armor of God. First, I look at what did God deposit already in me to do what I can do and what I'm supposed to do and what I'm capable of doing, because it's already in me, which is all the fruit of the Spirit. The second thing I'm looking at is, what am I supposed to think about? I'm measuring everything based on what? Philippians 4:8-9. Think on these things. And so I compare everything to that. Like that is my measuring tool. And the last thing I do is once I've checked and balances what's in me, what am I supposed to be doing? I look at, okay, how do I fight all of this? And then I look at the armor of God, the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, helmet of salvation, sword of the spirit, shield of faith, feet of peace, and most importantly, prayer. So, and I'm not saying that I am like this super holy Christian and I got everything right and I don't get frustrated and I don't get mad and I don't fight and I don't even want to do the God thing. I don't like, I go through all of that too. What I'm saying is I fight to hold on with everything that I can to the belief of God in me, through me, around me. Like everything to me is weighed on, is dependent on what I believe. So how do I stay where I'm at? That's how I stay where I'm at. I look at what God has deposited in me. And because of what God has deposited in me, that dictates the behaviors, my lifestyle, because he's already deposited in me. And secondly, what am I going to think on? How do I keep where do I keep my mind at? How do I keep my soul aligned, my thoughts and my emotion? How do I keep that aligned? Oh, how? I got to think of things that are pure, things that are lovely, things. That's what I have to do. And the last thing is once I check myself and I put myself in order and I align my spirit and I align my heart and I align my mind, align my soul, once it's aligned within what's in me and what I got to think about, it's aligned, then I look at the armor of God. And with that armor of God, I know how to fight whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm confronting in all my situations. So that is how I deal with me. That is how I keep myself aligned. That's how I keep myself grounded in my belief, because a lot of disbelief wants to show up often and frequently. I'm human. But I just wanted to share that with you because I wonder, how do you fight disbelief? How do you stay grounded? How do you continue your life in faith? Please share that with me. I'm so interested in knowing. How do you handle disbelief? How do you stay grounded with the Lord? See you soon.